since you're working on this in your asynchronous time, my recommendation is that you guys do this, the whole form, in one sitting. It'll be easier. You're going to have less issues with the clay being different dryness. So like if I did the neck one day and then I tried to do the head a different day, that clay will be a different dryness, okay? So it's best to do that. If the thing fails, if it falls off, it falls on the ground, take your clay, mount it back up, wedge it back out, and then you're going to do it again. But you want to keep the clay soft. Okay. So as I'm going along, I'm kind of thinking head shape. When I think head shape, I keep the front of the face very vertical. Okay. You can have it leaning at a different time, but right now I want to keep the front face, this face right here, super straight up and down. That's a really important thing. And then there's some transitions into the neck that we're going to start to do. And I'm going to add that back piece. I think I'm going to work on this shoulder here a second before I put the back piece on. All right, we need one more little slab here in the back, okay? This part of the head, this is the back of the head, it's going to be rounded and it rounds in towards the neck. So, you know, sometimes you have to kind of fit it in and figure it out, okay? But it's going to be something like that. Use the metal scraper. And I'm going to pull it towards me, and I'm thinking about the basic form of the head, and this is a good time to have a brother, sister, mom, dad, somebody come in and then take a look at their head shape and see if you can start to emulate that shape. We're not going to do any features today. We're just going to get the basic shape of the head, okay? Remember, in the middle, like somewhere about now, good time to like step back, take a look at what you got, see what are the things that need to be adjusted, and then come in and say, oh yeah, that chin needs to be a little bit more, not so pointy. Before I do anything else, I'm going to put, look at all the clay I have left. I'm going to put this back in the bag. I was standing up when I started. It's a good way to start because you can be more physical when you're standing up. But then when you get into the detail stuff, you're likely going to want to sit down. When you're standing up, you're going faster, you're getting the rough shape. And then when you're sitting down, now we're going to go a little bit slower. Pay attention to this. This happens a lot with students is there's not a connection here. So where I put this piece of clay here and the neck, there's no connection there. So that's a problem because I don't want it to I don't want to have to like deal with that coming apart later. I want this to be fixed now. Here's the other part where the transition is always bad, is in between the chin, the jawline, the chin, and the neck. For you guys on the first day, I'd give yourself an hour. Give yourself an hour or more to get this basic shape, maybe an hour and a half. Because if you get the basic shape, everything else is so much easier. Until you get the basic shape, it is going to be a little challenging. I could foresee some of you wanting to bring your piece in and getting some help at office hours, and we can do that if you guys want. When you have something that you feel like, okay, it's starting to get kind of close, don't do this early, but after you've done like an hour of sculpting and you want to check, and you'll probably have to do this a couple times, now would be a good time. Again, make sure the front face is pretty vertical. Mine's got a little bit of lean, and that's okay. And you've got something of a jawline kind of starting to develop, something of a neck starting to develop. And then you can start to you can do a couple check measurements. The pre-measurements, I did this before it started. The length of the head was 8.5 inches, so this is from temple to the back of the head, and I'm at 8, so I'm a little short there. And then my chin to my forehead was also 8.5 inches, and I'm also at 8. So I'm a little bit off here and I'm a little bit off there, but I may just go with that. And then my width was supposed to be 5 inches at the temples, and that looks like it's a little wide. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a little over 5. So that's an easy fix. I can pop that up. They do kind of sink a little bit, just so you know. One good thing is you could put like a little piece of newspaper. So I actually used one Tri-City Voice to do this entire head. So it was, 12 sheets, whatever. It was a Tri-City Voice from March. So if Tri-City, if you're listening, thank you for your paper. All right. So now, yeah, so I can put a little piece of paper in there, or I can put a little piece of clay in there, so that when I come back, I can, next week, what we'll do is we'll start to do the features, and that is the fun part. But don't move on. Please don't move on until you really, really feel like you have a good, solid base sculpture. All right, happy sculpting, guys. I forgot something really important. Make sure when you're done sculpting for the day, or if you take a break in between, to please cover your piece. If I only gave you one bag, maybe you have one at home that you can just double bag it. That way, if you ever get a hole in the bag or whatever, it's covered.